Assistant Commissioner, I wonder if you could just tell me, with your looking at your experience, the past years, how long is the gap, as it were, between the kind of measures that you're now putting in place, whether it's Section 60 or upping stop and search, and them having an effect? So, as I understand it, what I'm trying to establish is, as I understand it, there's always a kind of gap between people either knowing that there is strong stop and search or thinking it's very relaxed, and obviously then the result of that. So what is that kind of time span? When would you expect to see these measures having an effect?
It's a very difficult question to answer, and it will vary between different crime types and different interventions.
Knife crime.
In terms of knife crime, we've, as I've said, started to see the increase stabilising. We haven't yet moved into reduction, but we've started to see the increase stabilising, I think, from the start of this calendar year. Thank you.
Start of this year?
From the start of this year, yes.
So we've had
60... might be moped-enabled crime, which has reduced over the last year by 50%, which is a very big reduction. Sorry, theft of mopeds has reduced by 50%, and moped-enabled crime has reduced by 40% over the last year. Now, when the Commissioner arrived, she made it a very early priority to reduce down moped-enabled crime, and that had about, I think, 6 months to take effect. But then when it did, we've actually halved the theft of mopeds over the last year, which is a very strong result.
So you're talking about I absolutely see that. So basically, we've now reached a point where suddenly people are finally taking this seriously as being a crisis and people dying. So is this...
I wouldn't characterise it in that way at all.
Well, I would actually. I think it's only just now that we have these private summits and everything with the mayor and all the... It only happened last week or whenever it was.
No, but that's
anyway,
not true.
Could I say that if you're
we're
talking about Section 60 and we're talking about you being basically, and the mayor saying we should up, stop and search. So you're saying what, 6 months' time we might see a sudden reduction in, 2 or 3 deaths a week?
No, I was simply trying to illustrate with a different crime type that we are confident that we will achieve results, but that knife crime at the moment is stabilising. So at the moment, the increase has stopped increasing, it's stabilising. But I said right at the start, I'm making no claims for that at this stage. It's much too early to say. And actually, I may have been mistaken to try to illustrate with a different crime type, because it's very difficult to say when you would start to achieve results. All I would say is we are already starting to achieve results in terms of the seizures of firearms and knives. Those results have they've always been coming, but they're increasing pretty well every day at the moment. So those are very strong results, and they're a testament to the work that people are doing.
Okay, so just finally, a meaningful stabilising, right? So for most people watching and being horrified by what's going on, basically a meaningful drop in the number of people dying would be, you can't give me any sort of estimate, 2 years, a year?
I don't think that's
We've had this before, haven't we? We've had
peaks
before.
What
So
I can
how long
say,
does it take?
What I can say is what I do know, that in terms of the homicides, if you like, in London, in April and so far in May, they are considerably below February and March this year. So the indicators are encouraging, but if I project into the future, it would not be professional of me to say what I would project into the future.
Okay, it might give some people reassurance, but anyway, thank you.
I'd absolutely want to reassure
I take
people.
your point. It's a fair question to be held to account, but I think we're looking at clearly a significant reduction. How that's measured is for the committee to judge, and we will continue.
And I would say, we are, it's very, very early days when we're talking about knife crime with injury and we're seeing the stabilising. But in terms of the murders, every murder is so appalling on the streets of London that we are not, there is no complacency here whatsoever, and that's why the Violent Crime Task Force is out there all the time focusing on on really serious violence. And I'd just reiterate the point that Assistant Commissioner made around, you're asking about when will we see the effects. You see the effects every day when weapons are taken off the streets and those that are carrying the weapons are arrested. I mean, in 2017, because of enforcement action, nearly 3,000 knives were recovered. January to March, that was nearly 700, and just in April, it was nearly 300 knives. That's immediate effect. Those people have not had those knives and should have been arrested at the time, and that's an immediate effect of on the streets of London. And just could I just pick up also on what you said about all of a sudden we've decided violence is a problem. That is so categorically a misrepresentation of what has happened. From the moment the Mayor has made tackling violence a priority within his manifesto, the Commissioner, when she came in, said it was a #1 priority. We published the knife crime strategy last June, and we have been delivering on it. And rightly, the focus, absolutely rightly, with what is happening in London at the moment and across the country, the focus is maintained, and we are maintaining that focus, and will do so until we see significant reductions in murder and knife crime.
Hang on, wait a minute. The Deputy Mayor came back to me, so the fact you say it's always been a priority, yes, everyone can say it is. The fact is, I absolutely would stand by that point, that, you know, right from New Year's Eve on, when 4 young people were killed, you know, and it seemed to be still quite a peripheral thing, not being taken seriously. And it's taken this long to have that sort of summit thing we have, which frankly didn't really seem to achieve very much. But the idea that somehow this has been a huge concern, no, we're talking about it now because it's suddenly got to this stage of 60 people dying.
I think there is validity in what Peter's talking about. I haven't been on the sharp end of the radio this morning. Londoners want to know what's being done about it.